In this video, I'm going to be using and talking about my 300k custom Minecraft client and all of the problems with it. The Dragon client was created in celebration of reaching 300,000 subscribers. Little did I know it would become an absolute failure. We're going to take a closer look into what went wrong with this client and reveal my plans for maybe a brand new client. Pause. If you didn't know, I'm giving away 20 Hypixel ranks in my next video. And to enter, just like this video, comment your IGN, and you must be subscribed. To make this fair, I will be officially choosing winners in my next video, so make sure you followed all of the instructions to enter. Good luck. And by the way, YouTube is telling me that a very high percentage of you watching aren't subscribed, so if you like these Minecraft videos, please consider subscribing. And if you haven't already, go ahead and join my Discord server because I'm releasing new packs early in there. This little client right here caused so much tension within the Minecraft community. In this video, we're going to break down the problems with the Dragon client that over 32,000 players downloaded. This client was to be my official Minecraft client. And once released, we started to notice several problems that we're going to debunk and discuss. Does this mean I will be working on a different client in the future with a full development team? Watch until the end to find out my plans. And if you haven't already, go ahead and enter into my Hypixel rank giveaway. Now, before we go any further with today's video and I explain my new plans for a client, I need you all to go and add mc.streetrunner to your Minecraft server list and connect and join me right now. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last couple of months, we recently hit 300,000 subscribers. And in celebration of 300,000 subscribers, I decided to work on and create my very own custom Minecraft client. Now, keep the word custom in mind. The client was called the Dragon client and it released just over a month ago, reaching just to this day 32,000 downloads, which is very impressive. Now, something many of you probably aren't aware of is that once I released this client, there was a small portion of players within the Minecraft community who were not too happy with the client itself. And initially, I wasn't really aware or understood what the issue was regarding the client, because to my knowledge, it was a pretty okay client. You know, I found a developer a couple of months ago who had already worked on several other projects with me in the past for small mods, and he assured me that he could create and work on a pretty good client. And to be honest, that had me sold. So we got to work together and started planning out this Minecraft client. Now, the reason for creating a client was, well, as you guys know, I love clients, and as much as I love clients, I know most of you do as well, and I really wanted to create something custom. You know, it's pretty cool using the next Luna update or the next Badline update, but what if I was to create a client that was specifically created by creators just like myself and had all of these custom features that other clients didn't really have? You know, smaller things that only make a difference for some players, you know, actually having an FPS boost, improving FPS for players who don't have a good PC, for example. Now, in hindsight, the project itself, it was an enormous task, definitely something that required a solid team of individuals and not just one or two developers. And in this video, I'm going to break down all of the little issues that I found along the way with creating my very own custom quote-unquote Minecraft client. But before we get into it, I just want to say, if you currently use the Dragon client, there's no problem with that. You're more than welcome to, and you won't get banned on any server for using it. But without further ado, this is the downfall of my 300k Dragon client. Development of the client. So getting things started, possibly the most important variable to creating any kind of mod or anything that requires coding is development. Obviously, development is crucial, it's key, and if you go cheap or you go fast or way too efficient on development, then your project is going to suffer. And I learned this the hard way. You know, I didn't give the developer much time to create this client. You know, obviously we hit 300k super fast, so the development side of the Dragon client was very rushed and not up to my standards, to be honest with you. I was just so excited to actually release a client that I didn't really take into consideration the standard of quality that I should really be looking for within the client. It's definitely noticeable. I mean, if you look at the client itself and take a deeper look into it, you'll notice multiple bugs and issues with the client. Keeping in mind, this is a beta client, so you can't really be too harsh in criticizing the development of the client, but it was a one-man job. It wasn't created by a team like Badline or Luna, where, you know, you have like 20 or 30 developers constantly working around the clock on new versions. It was created by one person, and it didn't take long for many players and other developers to hop into my Discord server and let me know just how skidded or templated my client was based off of other versions that were available on YouTube, and that's completely fine. Once I found this out, I guess you could say the hard way, it didn't bother me too much because this was an experiment and I really wanted to build my own client. And that's not to say the Dragon client was ultimately a huge failure in the long run, but it was definitely poorly developed, and that's not necessarily down to the fault of the developer himself, more so just the whole concept around the time frame. We're on a very time conscious schedule, and ultimately that helped within the downfall of the client. You know, it definitely didn't help anything. And oh, there's a little guy following me around here, what the hell? But long story short, if you're going to work on anything, whether that be a Minecraft client, whether that be a Roblox mod, or some kind of 2D game, make sure you get the development right the first time, because rushing perfection or any kind of computer generated code, it takes time, and you don't want to be the person messing it up. Dragon client mods. So leading on from development, I want to discuss the mods that were built into the Dragon client and what went so wrong with the list of mods. Now, to address the elephant in the room, once you load up the Dragon client, the mods list very much looks like a hack client the way it's laid out. You know, it's not like Badline or Luna where you pull up a nice little menu and you've got all of the mods here listed for you. Instead, I'll bring it up on the screen, but as you can see, the mods are already listed on the screen and you have to right click to open them. It's actually very confusing to navigate, and in the videos where I'm using the Dragon client, I tried to make it as easy as possible for you guys to understand how to access and use the mods. Now, one of the main problems with the client is actually the mods included. Now, I was very naive and unaware to know this, but obviously mods are created by other developers, and obviously if you're going to use their mods, then you need to make them aware, and ultimately you should be using mods that are free to use for anyone, not something that should be taken away from someone else's hard work or at least been credited for. And to me, this was possibly one of the most disappointing elements to the client. A lot of the mods weren't customly created, and this made me feel a little bit disappointed within the development of the client. You know, obviously I can't really hold the developer accountable at all for this. You know, considering the time frame and considering his knowledge of developing, he did a pretty good job with the client, as I must say throughout this video. You know, he did do a very good job with the client. Now, having said that though, there was definitely a few mods in there that shouldn't have been included. I mean, the client itself, once you loaded it up, literally looked like a hacked client. And from what I've been told from other developers, the client was actually based off of a template tutorial on YouTube. Now, one of the main problems with the mods is that it was only able to be used within Forge. We didn't quite get to the point of getting our own launcher. I mean, we had a launcher created, but it wasn't quite linking to the client itself, so we just had the launcher which was being worked on. Now, I would have loved to have included more mods, you know, mods that I use every day within Minecraft into the client. I think that would have definitely improved it from my point of view, but I definitely feel as though using other people's mods was kind of like shooting myself in the foot. You know, it just wasn't something that I should have done, and while I wasn't aware of this up until releasing the client and receiving feedback, it's definitely something that, looking back, I wish I could have done better. And keeping in mind, I have huge plans for something new in the future, and I'm taking all of the criticism and I'm taking all of the issues into consideration when developing something again. Legalities. Now, obviously, every client within Minecraft has to go through a licensing process, which is something I wasn't aware of up until I heard from members in my Discord, and I looked through Twitter, I looked through forums, and this is actually the case. You need to get yourself a license if you're going to be registering Minecraft from a third-party source, like a launcher, for example. Obviously, this isn't the case within my client specifically because we didn't actually have a working launcher, and obviously, Minecraft is an open source game, so you can mod very clearly. You know, Minecraft is built around mods. I would say there is probably more players using a modded version or something modded within Minecraft than players who aren't. But keeping that into account, it's important to license your client. And this wasn't something that I had really taken into consideration originally. And it's definitely something, looking back, I wish I had done. And it's just one of the other issues surrounding the client that I wish I could have done better. You know, legally speaking, I didn't do anything wrong creating this client. You know, we had one developer working on it and they did a great job considering the operation and the size of this project. But it's just something, looking back, that I wish I had done better, and I wish we could have waited until we officially had the operating launcher working with the client, because otherwise it's quite confusing for a lot of players to obviously put it into Forge. You know, not every player is using Forge, and I can completely understand that, and I can relate, because personally I didn't use Forge. I hated downloading mods, putting them all into a folder, making sure they're all compatible on the same version. It was very confusing stuff. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward, but then again, just downloading a client like Luna or Badline is the easiest way to play Minecraft. I mean, it has it all together. You don't have to do anything else. It's literally so simple. And obviously, if I'm going to work on a client in the future, then I'm taking all of these points into consideration, and I want it to be something very easy and doable for you guys. You know, I want this to be something that can actually improve your FPS, whether you have a really bad PC or a good one. I want it to make a difference. You know, I feel like that's the one thing a lot of clients these days are really failing to do, and I feel like LabyMod, Badline, and Luna have all made pretty good strides into improving your FPS when you're playing the game, but I still feel like there is definitely a long way to go. Will I be working on another client in the future? 100%. This is something that I've always wanted to do, regardless if I don't play Minecraft in a couple of years. I want to have created and had my own impact within the Minecraft community. You know, having my very own client, something that I can look back on and use, and something that I feel like has a positive impact on the community. Now, obviously, that's very difficult to do, considering there is literally industries now that have built up clients like Badline and Luna, who are huge companies who have over 100,000 players on the client all the time. And competing with them is virtually impossible at this point because of how well established they are. But for my own pride and joy, I want to work on a client again, and I want it to be bigger and better than ever. You know, something that I spend several months developing, something that I can invest my own time and funds into, and something that I'll get a team to help with. You know, a client cannot be created by just one person. It has to be created by a team that are well constructed together, and something that definitely cannot be rushed. As we have now seen throughout this video, there has been several problems with the Dragon client, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's unplayable or unusable. It's definitely a client that you can use. It does improve FPS, and it does have some of my favorite mods. So in that aspect, I would consider it a relative small success, but a large failure in the long run. I just wish I spent more time on the client. But anyway, as you can see, we're here on Street Runner. I've been mining around this whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you guys do want me to work on my very own client again, then just leave a like on this video. If you have any ideas or concepts yourself, feel free to comment them down below. I know this video has been a little bit different to what I would normally upload, but I like making these talky videos, especially on an important subject, because you guys loved the Dragon client, and I feel like I owe it to you guys to, you know, talk about all of the negatives with the client, while there is many positives, but I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys did, please be sure to leave a like. As I said, leave your suggestions down below on how you think I could improve with making a future client. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.